this Honor MagicPad 3 is aiming to replace not just your at-home tablet, but your laptop with the use of smart AI tools, a stylus pen for input, and a flagship chipset in the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3. But can it actually replace high-performing tablets that we're used to on the market? And is it, productivity-wise, as an equal to a laptop? Let's find out. So as we mentioned, the MagicPad 3 is powered not by the most latest flagship chipset in the 8 Elite, but actually a Snapdragon 8 Gen 3. And that's absolutely fine because when it comes to things like high performance gaming, it does it incredibly well. So Call of Duty Mobile here will run on max frames, max settings for graphics and FPS, and you get a super smooth experience. No drop frame rates, no issue at all with any lag or any loading or checkerboarding. None of that exists on the gaming experience on this MagicPad 3. And let's quickly touch on that sound output. So with the sound output, you actually get 8 total speakers in what Honor described as spatial audio. It actually is super reminiscent of the OnePlus Pad 3 we reviewed a few months back, in that it gives you a super rich bassy output, no loss of clarity even at the mids and the highs, and again, no tinniness even if you're maxing out that volume. So the speakers are insane. The display, well, that's 13.3 inch IPS LCD at 165 Hz with 1000 nits of peak brightness and an 89% screen to body ratio. Now on the display front, a couple of conditions. It's actually, technically speaking, worse than the MagicPad 2 because that actually had an OLED panel at 3K resolution and that was super punchy. So is this screen a bit of a write-off? Not even close, because if you watch content back on here, you will still get a lot of really good, rich, detailed images on videos, or if you're streaming online or whatever it may be, it's going to look super punchy, crisp, and super detailed. In fact, what I would say is where this tablet probably has its biggest competition is against tablets that are AMOLED or OLED panels, things like the Xiaomi Pad 7, for example, which does sit a bit cheaper, but is smaller, and then against something like a Tab S10 Plus. But that S10 Plus and S10 Ultras, and soon newer S11 series, are all £1,000 plus. This pad is only $599, so factor that in, that although it is an IPS LCD display and it does a really good job with super crisp colors, it may not be an AMOLED, but then that is factored into the cost. One of the major downsides of the MagicPad 3 is actually its benefit, which is that huge 13.3 inch display. And even though it is only 5.79 millimeters thin and weighs just 595 grams, if you are actually gaming on this for a long period of time, you're gonna feel it because it is quite large and it does feel quite cumbersome. For a dedicated gaming machine, if that's the main reason you're looking for a high performing tablet, look at something like the Red Magic Astra, because that has an 8 Elite chipset, much smaller display, but far more usable long term for high performance gaming as well. One of the attractions of this Honor MagicPad 3 is its battery. It's a 12,450 milliamp hour silicon carbon battery that will recharge at 66 watts. Now, when you slap this with all of the performance benchmarks of things like Antutu and 3D Mark, you get some really interesting results. 3D Mark first, when you're running that, you actually get 8 degrees of increase and battery usage of 9% when you run it through that 20 cycles, which is still actually pretty good. On Antutu's benchmark, it's a 7-degree increase in heat and 5% battery usage. That is a less intensive experience. So again, that 8 Gen 3 high performance, really super high performance when it comes to its usage on this tablet for a variety of tasks. And under those tests, in extreme circumstances, it's still performing pretty well. So if you're doing your day-to-day stuff, you're gaming, you're watching content online, you're browsing emails, whatever may be, productivity side, which we'll talk about in a second, then you're probably going to find the battery usage will be considerably less than what those benchmarks are actually showing you. The MagicPad 3 not only delivers on that performance front with its high performance gaming and that great content watching, but also can perform in its versatility in being a productivity machine. And first, let's quickly touch on Honor AI and Magic OS 9. So OS 9 is, if you touch in the bottom left corner, you can open something called floating windows. Super cool because you can actually open 3 separate windows which all are fully interactive and usable, or you can have 2, wherever have you, and resize these as you want, and it works very, very well. It also has all of the really great AI features that you've come to expect as well. Things like text to speech works incredibly well. AI summary notes, again, works very, very well, and you can choose how you want to use with multiple options. And then Magic Portal, if you double knock on the screen itself or you circle with your knuckle, you can then capture a screenshot or some text or an image and drag it into the Magic Portal using some of those really great AI features. If you're navigating around the tablet itself using a 165Hz display on Magic OS 9, super well optimized, runs butter smooth. So if you're in your settings, you're customizing your wallpapers, or you're looking to just change up how your control center, etc. works, or you're just browsing the web, it will work super fluidly. No issue at all with any drop frame rates or anything at all in that sense, which is awesome. And then on the front of the pencil, let's quickly touch on that. 2 sides to the story. If you were to take a photo with this, the camera of the MagicPad 3, I should say, lost my words there, and it was, say, hypothetically a drawing of a car, it can then capture that, and then you can actually use the pencil to then annotate around, adjust, change the colors, the drawing style, etc., which is super sick. If you then jump into accessibility settings for the stylus, you can then actually use it as a pointer. So this can actually be used in a presentation style as well, which is again really great. And lastly, on the front of the OS updates, 7 years or 7 OS updates are guaranteed for the MagicPad 3. With the right accessories in place, you can make a great productivity machine out of the MagicPad 3, and you're probably going to know what this looks like. If you attach it to a case with a keyboard attached, you can then use it. And the keyboard case that we have here actually has nice tactile feel to its keys with really good travel. There are 2 keys here that are super customizable. We've actually attached one to the Honor Notes app and a second to Google Chrome. You can actually attach these to wherever you want, and then you've got AI keys at the bottom as well. That takes you straight to Google Gemini on screen, not the app. So again, super useful, very much focused on productivity, which is great. In terms of the keyboard itself, it look and feel and build quality is really good. The only thing I would say, the stand on the back is done in a really weird style. I thought it would just fold out or pull out to get the stand. You have to actually pull it down and create a sort of angle to be able to rest it. Bit weird, a bit overly engineered, but it works. The MagicPad 3 at that $599 price point offers really good value for money. In fact, when you compare it like for like, it's very similar to the OnePlus Pad 3, but the OnePlus Pad 3 has one key advantage, and that is its chipset, which is the Snapdragon 8 Elite. And for that reason, out of the 2, if you're asking me, I'd go for the OnePlus Pad 3. But there's nothing to say that this MagicPad 3 isn't great. As we mentioned earlier, really good display, great battery, great performance, incredible speakers, and the OS is very well optimized and only continue to get better over time. What I would say is tablets such as these large scale ones, we would default to this or the OnePlus Pad 3, because you're going to save a hell of a lot of money when compared to something like the iPad Pro series or the Samsung S10, S11 series when it comes to value for money and performance. So Samsung and Apple, you may want to take a note. Thank you so much for watching. Let us know in the comment section your thoughts on large tablets like these. Is this something you would buy, or would you forgo this and just go smaller 10 and 11 inch tablet and get those and use those on the daily? Let us know in the comment section, and be sure to like and subscribe. Until next one, we out.